Yeah, it was obviously a new venue, a different setup for everyone. But it's always fun playing in new places, and I think just from the very first game, I felt like I just controlled it and got through it quite comfortable, and ended up sort of winning the group comfortably, and just found a bit of confidence from there. It's always been a tournament that I look forward to. It's one that I haven't won before, and probably should have. So it's one that I kind of wanted to tick off the CV, and to be able to do that in the kind of manner of style and how many frames I lost was obviously a real big pleasure for me. Compared to some of the wins I've had, no, it was quite comfortable really. It was quite stress-free. I think whenever you're controlling a game, you don't really ever feel the pressure. I always kind of had a lead in every game, so you're able just to play like you would in practice, and I think that helps. I'm able to just sort of continue the momentum, and the leads were just kind of getting bigger and bigger, and it just sort of fills you with confidence. Yeah, I think to do that in that kind of class of field is an incredible achievement for me. And as I said before, is a tournament that I always enjoy coming to. Is one of the biggest on the calendar. It always seems to have been won by the real top players, and I know Ronnie's dominated a little bit. Neil beat me in a great final, and also Mark Allen played some of the best snooker he's ever played. So it was one that I wanted to sort of join them in, and hopefully this time I can just sort of relax now. No, I've done it before, and hopefully it's one I can get my name on a few times. Yeah, I mean, it was strange because in the tournament I didn't feel like I played anywhere near my best, but sometimes it's kind of deceiving when you're out there because I'm not scoring my absolute heaviest. I think just sort of like my brother told me that I was probably being a bit hard on myself just because the big breaks weren't going. I wasn't giving away easy chances, so it can be a little bit deceiving when you're out there. You can be a little bit tougher on yourself, but obviously I must have played some extremely good stuff to only drop 3 frames against John Higgins, because he's one of the heaviest scorers in the game. So there's a lot I can take from that. My safety game was especially good, and it was able just to sort of be a platform for the season. Yeah, I mean, against John, you can't afford to go 4-0 down. You're in big trouble. Even at 3-0 down, you're in big trouble. And I wasn't playing my best at that point, and I think I potted a good red to get in. I made a really good break, and that kind of just settled me down. And after that, the whole game seemed to change, and I was able just to sort of relax into the game and play really well, and obviously get a good lead. From that point, it was just sort of quite comfortable. But the little clearances, it's just kind of worth like 2 frames at the same time. They're so big, it just knocks sort of the stuffing out of the opponent. And I know if you're on the back foot how he would feel. And when you're already losing, it's just kind of the final nail in the coffin. I think it's amazing to win tournaments, but to beat the top players is especially important for me. I think I want to be someone that's remembered this beat all the top players along the way in the tournaments they played in. I seem to be someone that does draw the real top players, Ronnie, John Higgins, Mark Sobey, Neil Robertson, in the final most of the time. So every time I can win, I just take that bit of extra satisfaction from it. And John is up there, probably top 3 of all time in the game. To beat him on any stage by that kind of scoreline is something that you'll remember for sort of the rest of your career. Yeah, I quite enjoyed the layout of the venue, just even for the players being able to watch from look over from the top, and just I feel like that just added an extra dimension, and it was something just a little bit more fun and enjoyable. I know my brother don't really like sitting in the crowd, so for him to be away and be able to relax a little bit was good for him as well. So I think just the whole setup, we were especially relaxed with the layout. The crowds were fantastic from the very start really as well, and I think the final was packed out, and the atmosphere there was amazing. It's been pretty good. There's been times where I haven't played my best, but there's also been times where I've managed to dig in and play some of my best stuff. So I feel like in practice I'm getting back to somewhere near where I was maybe in the Champions or just before the season started, and hopefully now I can kick on and have another good season.
Yeah, you've added a Turkish Master to your trophy haul in that time. But not only that, you've added something different, an MBE as well. Firstly, obviously, congratulations on that accolade. And secondly, what was that like to receive that news for yourself, your friends and your family?
It was a bit of a shock, to be honest. It's not something that I ever expected. I thought I'd have to win Even though I've done well in snooker, I expected to have to win maybe a sort of like 3 or 4 world championships, or at least get to sort of probably like early 40s. So yeah, it come. I think I found out in the middle of the world championship. So it was a massive surprise. I thought it was a bit of a joke, to be honest. I read through the email a few times, but no, it's something that when you get into snooker, you don't ever kind of expect that kind of thing, to get that kind of recognition. And I've always thought that snooker can go a little bit underappreciated to other kind of major sports. So just to get that recognition from those that are sort of the highest up in the country is amazing for me, and it is something that sort of is a moment that you'll never forget as a snooker player. I think because a lot of the other tournaments that you play in, by the time maybe you get to sort of the quarter semi-finals, a lot of the top players have gone out, but this tournament there is only top players in it. So it's the best players from the past season that have won events. Everyone in the tournament is full of confidence, and they all know that they can do it on the biggest stage. So I think it just adds a little bit different from the rest of the tournaments. And I think Ronnie is something of sort of a invitation tournament when it's down to the top 16 specialist. When it comes to the top players, he manages to just go up a gear. And it's something that if you ever want to be remembered alongside him at the end of your career, you have to be winning these massive events.